but that's okay. All right. You good? Okay. All right. Well, welcome everyone. This is our CARES Act webinar number 3. We are rolling into our 4th week of the slowdown, and we've gotten lots of recovery information under our belts, and I have been working closely with Kim Harris to make sure that we had great information for you to navigate the best resources to fit your business situation. And I'm super proud of what we've been able to present. Very knowledgeable, and we have gotten so many compliments from the region, from the area, statewide and beyond for the resources we've been able to provide you guys. So I'm very pleased with that. And thank you to Kim for all of her hard work as well. At this time, before we get started into our webinar today, I just want to take a moment, share my screen here. Oh, we're backwards now, Kim. So you'll, I can't screen share now. So if you'll make that available for me to screen share.
Okay, check it now.
There we go. Perfect. Thank you. Then I will introduce you to a couple of things here. Let's get back on here. Screen share this page. So I would like to bring your attention to our COVID Quick Links page. If you could take a look at this page, we're going to refer back to this page for a lot of the things that are in our presentation today, and you can bookmark this page and come back to it often as you need. You'll notice here that we have hyperlinked every one of these great guides and resources here for your business to navigate all of the funds. We try not to be duplicative. Is that a word? We try to make sure that these are all really comprehensive for you and have hyperlinks in them to take you where you need to go. That way it's not an act of Congress to get where you're to get what you're after. We've got our last 2 webinars linked up here at the top, and when we're done with this one and we get that uploaded, then we will slide that right in here at webinar 3 with the date so you can check it out. If you haven't already gotten your direct deposit from the stimulus check, I got mine in the bank this morning, direct deposit. We have a link right here, the irs.gov, where you can update your direct deposit information if it has not already been established with the IRS. They don't ask you for anything else. They just want to know your name, legal name, how you file, and then they want to know your routing number and your bank account number to be able to drop that in. And it is in the official irs.gov site. Okay. So let's take a look at a few other things I want to point out to you. The way we have this organized, we have some comprehensive guides at the top, a neat side-by-side comparison spreadsheet between the PPP and the EIDL, what the details are in those. Then seeing them side by side sometimes is very helpful. We have some FAQs and some quick guides to the various pieces, including all these with hyperlinks. I have tried to note here if they've got links for you. Then we have Paycheck Protection has all of the PPPs in here in the middle. We have a detail program detail guide, also an FAQ, but most importantly, I want to draw your attention to our spreadsheet calculator. And Kim is going to show that here in just a bit. But this spreadsheet calculator is going to help you to calculate the amount that you are requesting on your PPP application. We've added a link here for the most recent announcement on Monday, where Goldman Sachs has backfilled and funded the LIFT Fund program for the PPP style loans for Texas small businesses. So we've got an article kind of explaining that. And in the short term, I would say it operates just like a PPP. And then next we have some information on the EIDL loans, economic injury disaster, as well as the employee retention tax credits. Those overviews and details are in here. And the unemployment benefits by the Texas Workforce Commission, as well as below I'm going to have, I believe that one is the link directly to where you can have your employees register. And then the IRS link there. Now at the bottom section, we put direct links onto the pages that you will need to access directly for the loans that you want, that you're interested in. So SBA will be where you do any of your PPP, I'm sorry, that's wrong. SBA loan resources has all the EIDL information and general SBA information. The EIDL application link goes directly to the start of that short form. The Lift Fund is the link to their Corona options here, and a few other links that I'll point out. Any Texas women-owned business, we found out that there are some grants being offered. I think, Kristen, you sent me that link by TWU. So that has come in very handy for some women-owned businesses to take advantage of. And then we have links for all of these banks locally. If you bank with any of these particular banks, these links should go directly to their COVID response pages, their PPP application, or further information. So, and then of course over here on the left is where we have any of our community layered updates, and we always include a directory link. So if any of you are, all of you are in business here, a membership in the chamber, we've got this front and center, and we hope that your directory listing is looking fabulous, because people will be seeing that at the top every time they come to our COVID page. So that is a short tour of our page here, and you will hear Kim in the presentation refer to some of these links, and you'll be able to find them here. So once you look up our Montgomery Area Chamber.com page, clicking on this COVID links, then you'll want to go up here and bookmark it. That's all I have, Kim. So at this time, I want to turn our presentation over to Kim Harris. She is the fabulous income specialist with Advanced Retirement Planning. And she has just been delightful to work with in all of these things, and being so knowledgeable and patient with people, and very thorough, and working through all these problems. Each circumstance has its own set of situations to kind of navigate through, and she's just done a fabulous job working with us. So I would like to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Shannon. I do enjoy taking complex information and working with it to hopefully getting it down in a simple form where I can understand, and all of you can understand as well. So our focus is upon economic issues, not of health or of safety, although we are concerned about that. And this information is believed to be reliable, but is subject to change. Everything that is on this presentation has been verified as of yesterday or this morning. If you go back to the very first CARES Act webinar and you listen to all three of them, you're going to notice some modifications and some changes. And so we're just trying to keep up to date with what's coming out and what some of the changes are. So we're going to talk about government actions from our federal government and from our Texas state government. We're going to talk about PPP, EIDL, and employee retention tax credit. So with the passage of the CARES Act, we have two different programs available. So the new one is PPP, and this loan is obtained from existing SBA lenders. Now, I believe that as of Monday, there were 367 approved lenders in the state of Texas to give us more help in being able to obtain these type of loans. And the second loan that's available is the EIDL, which is directly from the SBA. Now, this program has been in effect. It is not new. There is one new feature about it, which I will talk to you about, but this has been put in place by the federal government for instances like Harvey or a natural disaster. So now the whole country is under a disaster. So if you look at the red, that's the PPP program, and it covers payroll expenses, employees' salaries, mortgage interest, rents and utilities, and interest on debt incurred before February 15th, 2020. And for the EIDL loan, you can also use that for payroll. This is where it gets different. Fixed debts, accounts payable, and other expenses that can't be paid because of the disaster's impact. And so as you go down and compare, you can see where how they're different. The only thing that this chart doesn't cover is there is a portion of an EIDL loan that's forgivable, and I'll give you that information here soon. So this is our Houston District Office website, and I think it's very important to have this bookmarked so you can go back to it. So when you go to the link that's provided, if you scroll down under the Business Resource Center and look for the Small Business Guidance and Loan Resources, the second item down here is a slide deck or a presentation. This screenshot happens to be from 4/6, but as of yesterday, they had updated it because they did no, I'm sorry, it was Monday, they updated it because they did another presentation. So you can get the latest one right there. And then the other link that I think was going to be valuable to you is the second red arrow, the list of active SBA guaranteed lenders. Now, I accessed that this morning, and there's an Excel spreadsheet that there's 6 pages of lenders on there. There's been clarifications about faith-based eligibility, which we won't go into today, but it is available at that website. So we're going to talk about the Paycheck Protection Program, when to apply. Well, enrollment has opened up for everyone, but what I want you to concentrate on right now is that small businesses comply, along with sole proprietorships, independent contractors, and self-employed individuals. So if you file a Schedule C, you're eligible. And you're always encouraged to apply as quickly as possible because there is a funding cap. Now, I have heard that they are working on getting more money when it runs out, but that has to be voted in. So how do I calculate my average monthly payroll costs? Well, this is a quick link that is on the web page that Shannon explained to you. And this is a screenshot of the options that you have. So if you have a business where the company was open all of 2019, then you're going to fill out option 1. If you're a seasonal business, option 2. And if you weren't in business the entire year of 2019, then you'll fill out option 3. You don't have to fill out all of these blanks if you're a sole proprietor because you probably don't have salary and wages, but you would have commissions or 1099. So as you fill the spreadsheet out, you can fill out if you just received 1099s, and you don't have to break them up into which month you received the money. You can just put the total amount from your 1099 in one cell, and it will calculate it for you, and it will even tell you how much that you should be eligible for. So that's a very helpful sheet. Now, this is a sample application for the PPP loan. It might not look exactly like this from your lending institution because the lenders can change how this is formatted as long as all this information is on here. It's a short form. I think it's 3 or 4 pages. and it's not hard to fill out at all. So you put your amount of loan request in here, and you can see the terms, loan term and a number of months, that you can defer payments up to 6 months if you don't qualify for full forgiveness. And the interest rate is 1%. Then in here is where you put the average payroll multiplied by 2.5. That 0.5% is what we talked about earlier with mortgage interest, utilities that you have to help with. Keep in mind that the PPP is to help you out for 2 months with payroll. Now the rest of the application is a lot of certifications for eligibility and just that you're not committing fraud and that you're entering in numbers that are true, that's true and correct. I want to point out one other thing on this form. See at the top here, it does have sole proprietor. So many people don't realize that they are eligible for help. If you are a doctor or an attorney, and a PLLC is the same as an LLC. So how do you apply? I've got 4 choices for you. The first, you can go through your bank. You can go through that spreadsheet that you can pull off of the SBA site for the list of active lenders, and you can see all your choices. Then we have a chamber member by the name of Jimmy Neal. Now, his company normally does credit card processing, but his company does business with a bank who is offering PPP loans. His process is that he will ask you several questions. He will send it in, and a loan officer from that bank will contact you. The fourth way we have, which this was just added on Sunday, is as Governor Abbott announced that Goldman Sachs was working in conjunction with the LIFT Fund to provide PPP financing. And that link is on our website, on the Chamber website, with some more details and the link to LIFT Fund. And they are open to take application. So you're going to need the normal documents that you would need for any loan. Any numbers you give them, you're going to have to provide records that substantiate your numbers. So as you're gathering information to fill in the forms, keep in mind you just might as well keep that all in a folder, because you're going to have to provide that to your loan officer. So applying for EIDL. So I'm switching from PPP to EIDL. So to apply for the EIDL loan, you have to go to SBA. You can also do it on your iPhone, on your Android, and they have different windows that it works best with, like Safari or Chrome or Internet Explorer, Microsoft Edge. So, and I've had experience in the past with other companies that if you don't have the right Internet Explorer or Safari or Google Chrome, the forms aren't going to properly fill out. So if you're having problem filling out the application, that's why. Now, this is something that is on the website as well, and I wanted to show this to you this week. Keep in mind that the information that is listed on, as you see on your screen, is not the entire spreadsheet, because there just wasn't room. If you look in the upper left-hand corner, this was updated today. The SBA is keeping this updated, and I think this is just a great resource. So the first column is your PPP loans. And I want you to look that people who are self-employed, individuals, independent contractors, sole proprietors, and businesses are available, the PPP loan is available to them. And if you look at the next column, for EIDL, the same thing. Self-employed individuals, independent contractors, sole proprietors, and businesses. Keep in mind that the PPP loan is to help for 2 months. If for some reason this goes on longer, which we all have to recognize that it might, then you may need to also utilize funds from the EIDL. So people were asking, well, should I apply for the PPP or the EIDL? Well, you might need to apply for both. If you're approved for the EIDL, you do not have to take the loan if you don't need it. You can reduce it, or you can even ask for more. I want to go down to, okay, on the PPP loan, see where it says lender here. So the difference is you have to go through a certified bank or credit union, but in Texas we now have 367. And for the EIDL, it's directly with the Small Business Administration. Let's go down to the very bottom that you can see forgiveness. The PPP can be forgiven up to 100% as long as the loan proceeds are spent for the things the loan was specified for. Now, the EIDL loan, it says there is none, and that is true for the EIDL loan. But look at the third column. That's the EIDL forgiveness advance, a grant up to $10,000. Again, if you're self-employed, individual, an independent contractor, a sole proprietor, and businesses, you can qualify for that advance. As you fill out the application, which again is not a long application, there you need to be sure you read everything carefully, because there is one box that if it is not checked, then you're not considered for that. And I did that, and I really, when I filled out mine, I don't remember whether I checked that box or not. So I called customer service. I wasn't on hold for that long. A very nice man talked to me, and he said, you know what? He said, if you're not sure if you checked that box, fill out the application again, look for that box, and check it. Now, for the EIDL loan, they have set some parameters. If you go down to the amount, it's going to be $1,000 per employee up to a maximum of $10,000. One of the things on the payroll, on the PPP loan, as it goes through banks, that the government has given them more leeway on the PPP loans. And there's some questions about how, about the 1099 employees or partnership programs. But the guidance that the government has given them is that they use best practices. So the banks will really be deciding on some of the guidelines on the PPP loan. So the normal things happen after you apply for your EIDL loan. They have to verify everything. And it's taking about, if I go back to that other chart, it even has in here the turnaround time down towards the bottom. PPP loan is 2 weeks, and the SBA says 3 to 6 weeks. And for the EIDL forgiveness, 3 business days, but that's after the loan application is complete. So that would be after you've talked to the loan officer. This customer service number is the one I used that I got through on, and it didn't take long for me to reach a live person, which I was surprised and very appreciative of. So again, keep in mind that as things go on, if you find that you need more funds, you can submit supporting documents and request an increase. If for some reason you get denied, it doesn't mean you won't get the $10,000, but you can provide written reconsideration with new information. for that. If you have a question on how to do that specifically, give me a call, because I have a lot of experience with how to do that type of thing, and specifically what underwriters are looking for. These are some numbers that are helpful. And I do believe, Shannon, you have these on the website, don't you? You have links to all of these on the website. Yes. Okay. So again, if you have questions about your specific situation, for the EIDL loan, it's SBA Disaster Customer Service. For the PPP loan, it's your bank. So let's talk a little bit about employee tax, the employee retention tax credit. There's also links about this. This hasn't been talked about much since the very beginning, but it still is an option for some people, and you need to look into it to see, just like what I said earlier, the PPP loan is for about 2 months. And then you can, then the EIDL program is going to kick in month 3 and after. So if you use your PPP for payroll expenses, starting the 3rd month, you still need help with payroll expenses. Then the EIDL loan can help with that, just as long as you keep all your documentation so you can prove what you used the money for. So I think this is a great program to help businesses reduce their tax liability. And but again, you can't use this and a PPP loan for the same time frame. You need to look at this, look at your numbers, see if this is more advantageous for you or the PPP loan, since you can't use both. You may have to employ the help of your accountant or your CPA to help you figure this out. There is only certain employees count toward this eligibility, and there is a link on the COVID-19 page as well. The Treasury Department has not developed the process yet on how this is going to happen, so that is still in the works. So before we go to questions, I just wanted to talk a little bit about going forward, because on April the 30th, we're supposed to be able to go out again. Well, that may happen and it may not happen. And I like to plan for worst case scenario and expect the best, because that helps my mental mindset, my emotional mindset, so that I'm not swept away by more uncertain bad news. So how do we take a course of action in a crisis like this? The uncertainty that we're experiencing causes a lot of fear. So we all have known that we have to plan until April the 30th on what we have to do and how we can make it through. But what happens if on April the 1st, we still have to stay at home? How are you going to handle it? And what are you going to do? I think during this time, it's really important to embrace personal growth, because there's a quote that Chuck Swindoll said. He said, "Every opportunity is surrounded by a problem." Well, we've got a lot of problems right now across the United States. So therefore, if that's true, we have a lot of opportunities that are around us. We just have to get ourselves in the mind frame that we can see and take advantage of those. There's 3 questions that John Maxwell asked, and I believe these are important to consider getting through this time. The first one is, how will I use this time to get better? The second is, how will I use this time to help other people? And the third is, what action will I take to improve my situation? So as you consider um, helping yourself grow, there's so many resources that we have available because of what's on the internet. John Maxwell right now, he has some tremendous resources that are totally free. His coaching conference that he was supposed to do was canceled, but they went online, and all of that is free for us to watch. Mel Robbins has a lot of good information. Marie Fallio, Andrew Womack Ministries. I mean, they have tremendous teachings and so much free information from people. And then another one I like to look at is Wealth Builders, Billy Epperhart. They have a lot of good information, and they're doing a live stream every Saturday morning just to help people get through this time. So I think these questions to consider are important to help us adjust our mindset so that we can tap into the creative possibilities that are around us. But we have to get past feeling sorry for ourselves, which is something normal that we all go through. That's the reason I think focusing on other people and how to help other people during this time is crucial. For many years, I have used the skill, the ability that I have of taking critical information, a lot of different information, and pull it down into simple form. And I thought, well, that's something I can utilize to help people during this time. I do have to say that I think for me anyways, the most crucial thing for me to do is to have my quiet time of a morning or sometime during the day to read my Bible and to depend upon the Lord to help us through. So I would encourage you to keep your focus daily instead of projecting too far down the future. Do what you can today to take care of others, your clients, and yourself. When we're on the other side of the COVID-19 pandemic crisis, which we will be at some point in time, will you look back and realize that you got buried in the crisis? Or will you look back and realize that you did something to make yourself better? And so I just hope that this has encouraged you and given you something different to think about so that you can help others as well as yourself.
That's fabulous, Kim. Thank you. I feel all charged up and ready to go. Good stuff. In that same vein, I came across an article yesterday through some of my contacts that I just really have enjoyed absorbing and reflecting over. And I wanted to point that out to you. It doesn't look like in our group chat that it hyperlinked, but if you were to copy that entire long URL in the group chat at the very top, you can open that article on your internet browser and just read that. Um, uh, I'm not really familiar with the people who wrote this, but it is timely, talking about the path to our next normal beyond this coronavirus. So it is absolutely relevant and timely, the article. And it goes over 5 R's: resolve, resilience, return, reimagination, and reform. And kind of talking us through, and I thought about this not too long ago, that we almost went through stages of grief, if you will, during this crisis. Some, at first we're sad that we're stuck in this, there's some fear that's involved. Then we're angry because we're in these close quarters. We can't do what we want to do. We're limited in so many ways. But I woke up this morning, of course, it's my birthday today. And so I just was very hopeful. I feel a sense of hopefulness. And I hope that is really going to play out. Sometimes your gut feeling, and when you spend a little time just in reflection and prayer, that you get that sense it's going to be all right. And so sometimes you just need to park and camp there regardless of what the statistics might throw at you, because we get those every day. But I've got to say, Kim, this presentation, we just keep getting better at this, don't we, after doing this so many times? Well, this has been a fabulous update, getting all the information out for you guys, to help you navigate what's available, reaffirm to you that you are eligible in whatever version that you are experiencing, whether you work for yourself or 1099 yourself or never took a paycheck. I mean, all of these things make you eligible. So with that, let's see if there are any questions before we go today. And if you would like to ask, you can just unmute yourself or let us know. Anything? Nobody? We did that great. Well, that's exciting. Okay, well, you do know where to reach us on our email, and we will once again put the webinar recording on a link. I think this one was our best one, so we will put that on our COVID page. Make sure that you copy the link and bookmark it on your internet. And then also, before we close today, go into your group chat window and highlight that article link and go read that and check it out. Okay? Well, thank you all so much for attending. And if we can do anything else for you, please let us know.